Today I'm presenting a Kawai GM2 model grand piano, and I'm going to talk about its historical significance. Stick around. Hi, this is Ted Barsulu with Alamo Piano Galleries. If you haven't already, please subscribe to the channel. And if you have any questions about this piano or any others on the channel, questions or comments, go ahead and list them. We'd like to interact with you. And also shop our online store at alamopianogalleries.com. You can find information about this particular GM2 Kawai and anything else that we may have in the store and online. And as I mentioned, this has a little bit of historical significance in the Kawai development of grand piano. There was a time there in the late 80s and 90s where Kawai wanted to put a piano at the grand piano level that would be better than their top of the line upright. The idea was to get people to not buy a big upright, but to get them to invest in a grand piano. And so they wanted to come up with a very, very affordable type of grand piano, and they developed the GM1, which was a 4'9", kind of a baby grand concept. That lasted for a few years. It was replaced by the GM9. This is interesting. When you notice in the B-roll, it'll be a little bit different, but it has a very historical significance in getting to the GL10 model, which is the current 5-foot model, which is what this one is. This GM10 was manufactured in 1999, and you can tell right up front that the overlap bar right here is a lot smaller. The front of this piano and the placement of where the pin block is and towards where the key cover comes up on the new pianos, it's a lot thicker. And also the music desk is a lot more advanced. This is a permanent music desk. I mean, you can take it off, but it doesn't slide backwards or forwards, and it doesn't have the fancy attachments that the Kawai grand pianos have now. They have a music desk where you can write on it. It stays put like this, and it's also made of a much more durable finish and a super hard finish on top. Interesting about this piano is that it only has like 2 props, but it fit the bill for getting a grand piano into the home that was very affordable. And the other interesting thing is that it has a predecessor to what is now known as the Millennium 3 Action inside it. It has the original ABS Action, which caused a lot of problems when Kawai first went to the ABS Styran finishes. They had a lot of criticism from traditionalists that thought everything in a piano should be made out of wood. And it's kind of interesting because the first technological step forward off of a traditional grand piano from Japan was Kawai, and with the development of new materials for perfection and manufacturing the piano components that comprise the action. And I was thinking about this, it's like the first piano action in Japan was actually invented by Koichi Kawai when he was under the employment of Mr. Yamaha. And he actually invented the first working piano action in Japan that was incorporated into Yamaha pianos. And then when Kawai started, he incorporated it in his pianos. And since then, they have been an innovator in trying to make a more precision type machine. And with the Shigeru Kawai piano line and the adoption of the carbon fiber Millennium 3 Action in almost all of their pianos is a strong testament to where they were in the 90s to the late 90s. The criticism was that they're using plastic in their piano. And at that time, every single piano manufacturer used plastic in their pianos and their key tops and in other coverings and things like that. But it's kind of interesting because here's some 30-plus-year-old Kawai marketing things that come with this piano. And yes, this is a pre-owned piano. It was still signed off by their inspector, the final inspector, and then also the Kawai last guy at the warehouse to see the thing out and play it. And they talk about the ABS components. And then here they actually have the registration card for the Kawai owners that was never filled out. So you could probably register your, I bet this address, I don't think it's any good anymore. But anyway, this information was in there. It's interesting because this piano plays It plays really nice. It has the regular kind of entry line feel to it. At the time, it was a very affordable piano, and it still plays and sounds great to this day. I don't know how often it's been tuned. It was tuned a day or so ago for this video, and we're going to have a listen so you can see what I'm talking about. At first touch, I thought the piano was a tad bright, and I also thought that the action was great because it was broken in. I also had a tendency to almost, well, I had to pay attention a bit. And I didn't notice anything wrong with the keyboard, with the exception is just a tad of a space that is probably a fraction of a millimeter bigger right here. And something like that, when it breaks the pattern just a little bit, it really catches your eye, and it makes you wonder if the key is sticking up higher and how you're going to approach it, or if it's going to be something that you might have a problem with. And I ended up not having a problem with it, other than just like in my head and through my eye. So a lot of times pianos have those little quirky things in there that might throw you. And the other thing I wanted to mention is that I thought that it could also be the delivery, because I didn't check it, but I thought that the pedaling was not like exactly set up perfect. So other than that, I think that some of the sustain on it is just the felts aren't snapping down, and I think that's because we have a little bit of a set in the pedal. So if you hear that, it wasn't over pedaling, it was under damping. So with that, I will leave you open to comments on this GM2. We don't get many of these in here. I think this might be the first one we've had through here. I was not familiar with this model. I had to go back and look at its placement in the Kawai line. And it's still a very, very well, I mean, it's a great piano. It's got a lot of life in it. It'll bring a lot of joy and happiness, plus music and song to someone. And with that, I will leave you. I am Ted Barsley with Alamo Piano Galleries, and we'll look for you next time. Thank you so much for your viewership.